Hey groomers, today we're going to give you a complete tour of this mobile grooming van for sale, and we're going to give you some real data to show you how you can work smarter, not harder in your own mobile business. Let's be honest, when was the last time that you asked yourself why you're still wrestling with 80-pound dogs? We just assume that it's part of our job, right? We just assume that as business owners, we have to say yes to whoever wants an appointment in order to have financial security. But we're going to show you today how choosing a small breed only business model is the secret weapon that smart groomers use to have higher profits, better routes, less physical pain, and a longer career. Number one, less resources used. A small dog only takes a few gallons of water to wash and rinse. A large dog with an extremely thick coat could easily take up half of your daily water supply at one stop alone. And what that means is that if you are grooming large dogs in your mobile business, you're having to stop in the middle of your day and use valuable time on your routes to go refill your tanks. It also means that if you're doing large dogs, that you are definitely spending more money on water every month for your business. This van has 60 gallons of fresh water. Two 30-gallon tanks of fresh water. There's two 30-gallon gray tanks. There's one in behind this one. Your insulated water pump is back there. Your fresh water fill is right here. You just hook a regular garden hose up to it. And your gray water drain is right here. There is a detachable drain pipe that hooks right onto that so that you can easily get rid of your gray water every day. Now, I do want to point out that on the small dog only business model, in the 6 years that I worked in this van, I usually did about 6 small dog grooms per day. Every once in a while, I would add on some baths at the end of the day, and I did have one client that had 5 pugs at one stop. And so I would usually do 5 small dog haircuts and then end with her and do an additional 5 baths. So the most bathing that I ever did in one day in the time that I had this business was a total of 10 baths on the days that she was on schedule, and I never once ran out of water. So the 60 gallons is more than enough for that small dog business model to work efficiently every day without ever having to refill. This van runs solely on generator power. This is a Honda 7000 inverter generator, which has been wonderful for my business, totally reliable. I have never had any trouble out of it, and it's quiet and efficient. It is very powerful. It's on a pull-out track to make your life easier with your maintenance and your oil changes. With this van, you do work with the back doors open at all times. If it's raining, you can close this one, but this door stays open at all times so that the exhaust goes this way. You also have this fuel pump right here so that every night when you're filling up your tanks, you're filling up your generator, you can just use this fuel pump. It takes the gas directly from the van, fill up your generator, and you never have to fool with any gas cans. Button for that is right here, and it's like your own little miniature gas station every night. So I'm going to start this up so that you can tell how quiet it is. And then I'll tell you more about the shore power over here. But before I do that, I do want to point out that we did install a battery charger back here for this generator so that you're never waking up in the winter and it not starting. It's always going to be able to be charged either when you're working in the van or if you choose to hook it up to shore power at night. So here is the exterior outlet for connecting to shore power. Like we just said, you can charge the battery for the generator on that, and this is also how you run heat in the winter overnight. If you don't have an RV plug on your home, you can just use this adapter. It connects to a regular extension cord, and the adapter is included in the sale of the van. Number 2, time is money. When you really stop and think about the time that it takes you to groom a small dog and the time that it takes you to groom a large dog, you'll see that you will always be able to do more stops per day on a small dog only business model. Now, if you also stop and think about what you're charging for a small dog versus what you're charging for a large dog, you'll find that if you did only small dogs, you would always make more money. Now, if you're looking at this chart and you're saying to yourself, those are not the prices that I would charge for my service area, then I encourage you to just plug in your own custom prices for whatever is accurate for your service area, and you're still going to see that if you did nothing but small dogs, that you would make more money each day, every day. Number 3, less physical strain. If you have been a groomer for any amount of time, then you are probably in pain. If you have been a groomer for any amount of time, then you know that all the other groomers that you know are in pain. It is one of the biggest topics of conversation in our industry about all the different ailments, because this industry is so hard on our bodies. It is such hard work, and it is absolutely no joke. When you choose a small dog only business model, you eliminate all that heavy lifting while making more money, and that is a win-win. This van was custom built to make that small dog only business model work as efficiently and comfortably as possible. It is a compact van, so you can see with me standing in here about how much room you have, and it was just the perfect design to be able to just wash dogs at waist height and turn right around and dry them. It's just all that you need for that business model, and it was always perfect for me in the time I was mobile groomer. This is a RV tub mounted at waist height. It is not super deep, meaning that you're never having to bend over real far to get to the dog. They're right where you need them to be. This is a brand new stainless steel backsplash, and it does have the overhead bar. Now, if you feel like this overhead bar is in your way, it is easily removable. You could take it out and give yourself more standing height for the dogs, but I never needed to. It was always perfect for the little ones for me. You've got your shower head. This tub has a hair catch down there in the drain too. It is also worth noting while we're talking about washing dogs that if you do choose that small dog only business model, that you are obviously using a whole lot less product and having to buy a whole lot less shampoo, which absolutely adds up in your yearly expenses. Up underneath the tub, you've got plenty of cabinet space on that side, and then on this side you've got a 6-gallon hot water heater. Also worth pointing out that on that small dog model, I never ran out of hot water because the small dogs don't require more than 6 gallons at a time. Number 4, you are alone when you are a mobile dog groomer. You guys, grooming dogs is hard enough, but when you are grooming dogs in a mobile grooming unit, if you don't have any experience with it, it's about the size of a walk-in closet. And when you're in here, you do not want to be fighting with a large dog that becomes out of control. It's hard enough to groom a large dog in a mobile grooming van when they're well behaved just because of the space. But if one were to become out of control, you are in that tight environment with that animal and you never know what could happen. The more reason to set that weight limit and focus on that small dog only business model, so that when you are grooming by yourself and one of the dogs becomes difficult, it's small. Because when you need help, you're never going to be able to ask for it. I know that, if you ask a lot of groomers what they wish that they had done differently about their business, they might say, I wish I had done this or that differently. There might be some things I wish I had done differently about my business, but there was never a single time when I was grooming in here by myself that I said to myself, you guys, I sure do wish that I was fighting with a big dog right now. It never happened, and I was never sorry for setting that weight limit on myself, because every time that a dog became difficult, I could handle it. Now, continuing the tour, you've got all your cabinet space up here, plenty of cabinet space up here. You've got your built-in toolbox for all your blades and all your scissors. And then I put this shelf up here. This is where I always kept my clippers and my Dremel and everything. Your outlet is right here for your clippers. And then down here we have a built-in space heater. That's brand new and has never even been used yet. And then here you'll see that we talk about this cubby hole in the listing. This unit was originally built with a window unit AC in this spot, and we ended up pulling that out to replace it with a rooftop unit, and now we have this cubby hole here where it was. The buyer is either going to be able to use this space just as a shelf, or you could put a small clipper back system in this hole, or you could even put another window unit AC for a few $100 back in this hole if you wanted like a backup AC for yourself. These are the 2 extra space heaters that we are also including with the sale. You've got the built-in one, but we're including these 2 extra ones so that if you are ever expecting a really hard freeze in the winter, you can run additional space heaters off of extension cords. Keep everything nice and toasty in here. Now, this is the DuraDog electric table that goes up and down, full-size table with the overhead arm. I absolutely love this table, you guys, and when I put the equipment in this van, I picked this one because it has the rubber surface. I cannot stand a slick grooming table, and this one is the rubbery one where they actually have traction on their feet. Number 5, less wear and tear on your equipment. Every piece of equipment in a mobile grooming van has a lifespan, and when you are grooming large dogs in your mobile grooming van, You are making all those components and all that equipment work harder than it needs to. In the time that you would have spent blowing out a big, thick-coated breed, you could have done 2 Yorkies in the same amount of time and only ran your dryer for 10 minutes. If you're in here trying to blow out a giant Bernese Mountain Dog on a rainy day against the humidity, you are making that dryer work overtime, and you are making that AC run way harder than it needs to be. You're gonna be protecting your investment more by choosing that small dog business model, because you're gonna be making all the equipment have a longer lifespan. You're not wearing it out as fast. Now, this van has a Canine 2 dryer down here. I'm gonna turn this on briefly just to show you that it works. 1 speed, 2 speed. That's a brand new dryer. This has a GE rooftop unit. We're gonna turn that on briefly so that you can see that that works. That is very effective for this small space, and I have definitely enjoyed it. And then continuing the tour, you've got your carbon monoxide alarm over here. You've got a shop vac in there on a pull-out drawer. In here, you've got towels. All the towels come with it. We've got some up front too. And that cabinet goes deeper back, so there's another row in there. It's always more than enough to last you a couple weeks if you're only going to the laundromat every couple weeks. Your hamper comes with it. That's for all your dirty towels. Got drawers. This van has a full-size stainless steel drying kennel, which I absolutely love. Everybody knows that every once in a while you're going to have that difficult dog that you need to dry it, so you've got your double K cage dryer in there that comes with it. And this is just great if you need to just have some multiple animals hanging out with you, so you don't have to keep going in and out of the customer's house. This is your breaker box. I know some vans don't have a main breaker box. This one does. It simplifies things. You got all your breakers up there for most of the components in the van, and then you have the one sub panel which controls the rooftop unit. This is the main transfer switch to go from generator to shore pattern, like when we were talking about plugging up at night during the winter. This van also has the greatest feature, which is the toilet. And you guys, it's a Lavio dry flush toilet, and I use this every day in the time that I was a mobile groomer. I don't know what I would have done without it. Most vans do not come with a toilet. This one does, and that means that you are never spending valuable time on your routes looking for a restroom or having to ask your customers to use their restroom. It was an absolute lifesaver. Number 6, less cleanup time. You guys know how messy dog grooming is, even at a brick and mortar shop. It's even more so in a mobile van, because all that hair and all that dust has nowhere to go. So every week, no matter what kind of mobile grooming business you're running, you are spending a couple of hours of unpaid time cleaning up that mess to keep your van in good condition, because you just have to. So if you're doing large dogs in your mobile van, the mess is even bigger, and that time spent cleaning it up is even longer. Bigger dogs, bigger mess, enough said. Number 7, a more structured business. When you choose a small dog only business model, your days are always predictable. I'm going to show you guys an example right now of how I always scheduled my days in the time that I ran this mobile business. I always did 6 dogs per day at an hour and 15 minutes per appointment, with 15 minutes in between, and that worked every day, every time. It is a much more structured way to give out appointment times to your clients, and when you're doing large dogs, your appointment times are way more unpredictable, especially if you're taking the time to go and refill your tanks like we talked about earlier. Having that small dog business model makes everything run very smoothly. Now, it's also worth pointing out while we're talking about this that if you're just now starting your mobile business, choosing that business model from the get-go is a great decision, because it gives your career more longevity, but also because you're never going to have to fire clients later. If you look at some of the conversations that other groomers are having right now about deciding at a midpoint in their career to set a weight limit, it might be because they got hurt and now they physically can't, and they're emotionally conflicted about how to fire good clients that have big dogs to downsize their clientele. And when you're trying to fire clients later, it gets emotional. There's a lot of drama with it. It's hard to do. But if you're in a position that you're starting your mobile business off right now, and you start it with a small dog business model from the get-go, you're going to make more money in the long run, have a way more structured business, and you're never going to have to eliminate clients later. This van has only 37,000 miles on it, so low mileage. There's your extra bag of towels up there that we were talking about. You've got your traffic cones too that come with it. And there is a wall that separates the work area from the cab. Now I did want to tell you guys that this is a user manual that I spent a month compiling for the buyer, so that the buyer was never confused when they were running in this van. It has the operation instructions, the winterizing instructions, the how-to on everything, the troubleshooting, and a log of when everything was maintenanced or replaced or worked on. It's got our phone numbers in it, everybody that's ever done work on it's phone numbers in it. And we just did this so that our buyer would never feel confused. We did this because we stand behind this van and we've done everything that we can to take care of it. We know how frustrating it can be to learn mobile grooming because it is entirely different than working at a shop. There are so many components on wheels and it really takes a lot of know-how. So we made this manual so that our buyer never had to panic when they were in a situation, that they could look to the book and find out how to fix whatever's wrong. It might just be a breaker or something like that. How to maintenance everything, how to take care of it in the winter to make sure you're always up and running, and to never feel confused. For those of you who are thinking about starting a mobile grooming business, I encourage you to ask other seasoned groomers what they wish that they had done differently when they started their own businesses. Ask them where they're making their most money. Ask yourself where you're making the most money wherever you're working now. We started our own mobile grooming business this way because we had owned a brick and mortar shop before this where we did all sizes of dogs, and I had learned from that experience that I always lost money on big dogs. So when we started our second business, I structured it this way because I knew that it would lead to higher profits, and it did. When you think about the first business I had that did all sizes and the second business that did smalls, the second one won. I feel confident that if you structure your business that way too, that yours will win out too. Try to take the emotion out of the grooming job for just a second, because people make this industry so emotional. And when I'm making this case in front of you guys, I know that there's people out there saying, well, I love big dogs. Big dogs deserve a groomer too. People will think I'm an awful person if I say that I'm not going to do their dog. Just try to take the emotion out of it, because this is a business, and I'm just telling you that this works. It's nothing personal against the client. It's nothing personal against the dog. You just will make more money and you will be more comfortable. It is also more practical in the mobile setting to focus on small dogs, because you just don't have the same climate control and the same resources available to you doing those big dogs on mobile as you do at a shop. Now, for those of you who are saying you're living in fantasy world, I would never have enough clients to stay busy with just small dogs, especially just starting out, just do the math. Think about how many dogs you want to do per day. Think about how many days per week you want to work. Think about those people being on a rotation, which is the bread and butter of a mobile business. And think about the fact that people that own toy breeds are more likely to commit to those rotations and sign up for those rotations. And think about how many dogs that is. If you're doing about 6 dogs a day, 5 days a week, then that would amount to about 150 to 200 dogs that you would need to be at full capacity. And even less if you're working less, even less when some of those people commit to more frequent schedules, like every 4 weeks. We also know that 150 dogs does not mean 150 clients, because one client might own 3 of those dogs. Now, for those of you who are running a fleet or starting a fleet, I am not arguing to you that you could run an entire fleet of vehicles that did nothing but small dogs. But I am arguing to you that if you do own a fleet and you did one vehicle that had nothing but small dogs on its routes, that will be your most profitable vehicle. Will it take you longer to start your business structured on a small dog only model? Yes, it will. You're going to spend a few more weeks longer getting booked, but in the long run, it will be worth it. In the time that I had my own mobile business, it was strictly word of mouth. I never had any graphics on this van in the entire time I ran it, and it ran totally on word of mouth. And I feel confident that if you're a good groomer, your clients will do the same thing for you. I want to thank you guys for watching this little presentation. We're going to give you one last image to look at here that's going to give you an example of yearly revenues side-by-side comparison between a vehicle doing nothing but small dogs and a vehicle with a mixed clientele. I hope that gives you one last thing to think about as you're considering how you want to structure your own mobile business. If you're now asking yourself why you should consider purchasing this particular van versus another one in a similar price range that does have a full-size tub, I would say that you should consider it because of all of the unique features that it has. This is a one-of-a-kind build that has a lot of unique features that you are not going to see anywhere else on the used grooming van market right now. Number 1, the toilet, the greatest feature of all. 2, the drying kennel and the cage dryer are there for your convenience. Those are very difficult to find in grooming vans. This one has got one, and especially if you're thinking about doing cat grooming, that is there for your use. This van has no windows in the work area, if you notice that, and that was an intentional decision when we designed this. No windows in the work area means that there are no opportunities for distractions for the animals, because we all know that when an animal sees a distraction, they are more likely to be injured. So that was an intentional decision. We also knew that we didn't want any windows in the work area for when we were on the toilet, obviously. And I recently had a groomer tell me that working in a mobile van that's got windows creates so much heat from all those windows in the summer that it just becomes an oven, and it puts extra wear and tear on your AC. Now, this van also has 2 sliding doors, which is a new unique feature, and you can blow out all that hair that we were talking about during all that cleanup. That is hard to find in a mobile grooming van, and that was also intentional in the design. This van is a 250, meaning that it is more maneuverable and compact than a lot of the rigs on the road right now. It makes it a whole lot easier to drive and a whole lot less liability. It makes it a whole lot easier to maneuver in some of these cookie cutter neighborhoods. This van lastly comes with the user manual that we worked so hard on. I don't know how many user grooming vans on the market right now are going to come with a gigantic binder about everything you could ever need to know about the van, but this one does, and we're very proud of that because we know our buyer will know everything that they ever need to know from that book. Please feel free to contact us if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.